I still remember the exact moment my world cracked, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like something inside me just gave up. It was 11:42 p.m. and I wasn't supposed to be there. I stood outside his apartment door, holding a small paper bag with his favorite late-night dessert, thinking I was being sweet, thinking I was being the perfect girlfriend. I knocked once, no answer, smiled to myself, then I heard laughter, a woman's laughter, soft, comfortable, familiar, not the kind you share with strangers. I knocked again, louder. The laughter stopped, footsteps, the door opened, and there he was, Daniel. The man I trusted with everything looked at me and said, "What are you doing here?" Not hello, not surprise, just irritation. And then I saw her, behind him, wearing his shirt, standing where I thought I belonged. In that moment, something inside me didn't break, it changed. Looking back, I hate how many signs I ignored, but when you love someone deeply, you don't see clearly, you choose not to. He wasn't always like this, or maybe I just didn't want to see who he really was. At first, he made me feel like I was the only person in the world, long calls, sweet messages, promises that felt real. Slowly things changed, late replies, canceled plans, busy with work became routine. The distance grew, and every time I questioned it, he made me feel like I was the problem. I apologized for things I didn't even do. That's how manipulation works, it feels like love until it's too late. Standing at that door, everything became clear. All the excuses, all the doubts, all the moments I felt crazy, it was never in my head. "Who is she?" I asked calmly. "Just a friend," he said, and even saying it sounded weak. I looked at him and said, "Say it again." He hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. Truth doesn't hesitate, lies do. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't beg, I smiled. That confused him. I handed him the dessert and said, "Enjoy your night," and I walked away. That night I didn't lose him, I found clarity, and clarity is where everything begins. I didn't sleep, not because I was heartbroken, but because I was thinking, connecting everything, seeing patterns I ignored before. He thought I was weak, that I would cry or chase him, but I decided something different. I wasn't going to confront him, I wasn't going to give him the reaction he expected. I was going to let him believe he got away with it. The next morning I texted him, "Hope you slept well." No anger, no questions. He replied instantly, trying to explain, and I cut him off with "It's fine." Those words shook him because suddenly I wasn't predictable anymore. And when someone can't read you, they start losing control. I kept talking to him like nothing happened, but inside I was watching everything. Patterns started showing up clearly. The same time he got busy, the same nights he disappeared, the same excuses repeated over and over. I wrote everything down, because emotions can lie, but patterns never do. Then a name kept appearing, Lena. At first it meant nothing, but it kept coming back, always around the same time he changed. One day he slipped on a call and mentioned her, then quickly corrected himself. "Just a coworker," he said, "of course, another friend," but this time I didn't ignore it, I followed it. I checked what was public, and there she was in his photos, in places he told me he went alone. Same jokes, same captions he used with me. That's when it hit me, I wasn't special, I was part of a pattern, and it didn't stop there. There was someone else too, different name, same story. That's when I understood this wasn't confusion, this was intentional. He knew exactly what he was doing. To everyone else he was perfect, charming, reliable, but I saw the truth now. He didn't love people, he used them. So I changed how I showed myself. I became calm, distant, unreadable, and it worked. He started trying harder, texting more, calling more, because now he felt the shift. People like him hate losing control. That's when I started planning. Real revenge isn't about anger, it's about strategy, timing, and impact. I asked myself what he valued the most, and the answer was simple: his image. So that's where I aimed. I needed proof, not just feelings. I collected everything quietly: conversations, screenshots, timelines. I guided him into his own lies without him noticing. He said he was working late, but I already knew where he was. I didn't confront him, I let him keep lying. The more comfortable he felt, the more careless he became. One night he said he was busy with work, but I knew he was out with her. Later he texted, "Just got home, exhausted," and I realized how deeply he believed his own control. I kept collecting everything, not for reaction but for impact. Then I started shifting the pressure slightly, just enough to create doubt. Small lines, longer eye contact, subtle hints, and it worked. He became nervous, started asking me questions, checking on me, trying to regain control. The roles had reversed. By then I had everything I needed. All that was left was timing. The perfect moment where he couldn't deny anything. Then it came, his birthday. A gathering full of people who admired him, the perfect stage. I acted normal leading up to it, even more caring than before. He believed everything was fine. That night, surrounded by people, I stepped forward for a toast. "Daniel is incredible," I said, and everyone agreed. Then I paused and continued, "That's what makes him so good at lying." The room went silent instantly. He stiffened beside me. I calmly started revealing everything, messages, timelines, photos, not emotionally, just clearly. He tried to interrupt, but it didn't matter. The truth was already there. People weren't looking at him the same anymore. His image was gone. I looked at him and said, "You thought I wouldn't find out." He tried to explain, but there was nothing left to explain. I stepped back and said, "I didn't do this to hurt you. I did this so you couldn't do this to anyone else again." Then I walked away. No drama, no waiting for reactions. The next morning there was silence, and it felt earned. He tried to contact me, messages, calls, excuses, but I didn't respond. When silence didn't work, he blamed me. Not for what he did, but for how it made him look. That told me everything. A week later he showed up, still focused on his embarrassment, not his actions. "You didn't have to do that," he said. I calmly replied, "I did." He tried to justify himself, but I wasn't emotional anymore. I told him the truth, simple and direct. "You ruined it the moment you chose to lie." He asked if I felt better now, and I said, "I feel free." That was the real ending, not the exposure, but that moment. Because there was nothing left to fix. After that, he disappeared, and I didn't look back, not because I was trying to be strong, but because I didn't need to anymore. I realized revenge isn't about hurting someone, it's about seeing them clearly and choosing yourself. He didn't lose me when I exposed him, he lost me when he thought I wouldn't notice. And maybe that's the lesson. Not everyone who smiles is honest, not everyone who stays is loyal. I didn't lose anything real, I lost an illusion. And in return I found self-respect. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: don't wait for someone to prove they don't value you. Pay attention when they show it the first time. And when they do, don't chase, don't beg, don't fight, just walk away. Because sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply refusing to be fooled again.